So welcome to the Wedding Filmmaker Spotlight Series, where I review the best wedding filmmakers in the business. Today we're taking a look at Ray Roman. So yeah, I'm Victor Fox, and this is the Wedding Filmmaker Spotlight Series. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification if you want to be notified every time one of these videos comes out every single week. Like I said, we're talking about Ray Roman. If you don't know Ray Roman is one of the biggest names in wedding filmmaking. If you check out his Instagram, he says that he is widely regarded as one of the most influential wedding filmmakers in the world. He makes very unique wedding films. I would say they're obviously very high-end, very expensive, but they're also very they have like a certain feeling, a certain genre. I would call the genre maybe like Hollywood, blockbuster, that kind of thing. So we're going to kind of talk about the things that make this film feel the way it does and the way that the Ray Roman crew were able to pull this off. So let's go through shot by shot, because maybe not shot by shot, but I'll kind of just skim us through here. So let's talk about this opening shot. I mean, obviously, all right, so we've got shots like this. All the stuff in the desert is obviously like gonna look beautiful because it's just so clean, like compositionally, it's just beautiful blue sky, beautiful sand, beautiful mountains. Like there's nothing distracting you in the background. It's just, you know, you can really focus in on whatever you want to see, right? And then when you can really focus in on your subject. And then when you know, if you want to like take that to the next level, you add one of these really cool gimbal moves, right? So we've got this is like an orbit. It's just a little orbit, you know, but it's beautiful. And let's talk about the lighting of this shot. So they're not shooting into the sun, but they're also not shooting with the sun to their back, right? The light for this shot is coming from upstage. It's just out of frame, really. Like you can see, like in the gradation of this sky, the sun is just over here, and it's getting lower, but it's not quite sunset yet, but it's getting lower. Okay, now it's sunset. So from that shot to that shot, I mean, that's a little bit of a time difference. You can see that. And now the sun is basically, unfortunately, we are shooting right into the sun, it looks like, because this whole area is hot. But maybe they were thinking about exposing for the subjects here. But moving through, okay, so obviously you have to mention the audio, right? So the cinematic drums, here's another one. Oh no, that was like, oh shit. Here it comes. Oh, sorry. Okay, so if you want to, you're gonna have to get some cinematic drums if you want to make your films look like this. Cinematic drum packs. You can download these kinds of things, and they make the drums in your films, the percussion in your films feel a lot more cinematic. So you would need some cinematic drums, and I love it. I think it really suits the vibe that they're going for. Drone shots, you're going to need drone shots, right? And because they're filming in, you know, Las Vegas, you know, they have these wide expanses, they have these memorable, these recognizable cities. Obviously, go for the drone shots. And then, yeah, obviously sound design just generally makes such a huge, it plays such a huge role in like the way this film feels. Not just like the little sound effects we're hearing here, like these little ticks, you know, like time, you know, but and not just the cinematic drums, but the actual like narrative audio. Just the audio that has been captured is so clean and has been massaged so well. It's on another level than what you would normally hear in a wedding film. Like here's an example.
There comes a point in everyone's life when you realize a life alone is not a life worth living.
And you can see it's windy. You know, her hair is blowing in the wind, and he just sounds like he is in a recording studio.
Everyone's life when you realize a life alone is not a life worth living.
I mean, Was it dubbed? I don't think so. I think it was just professionally cleaned up.
There comes a point in everyone's life when you realize a life alone is not a life worth living. You are my everything. You are the first thing I...
Interesting compositions, right? So this is almost this is a frame within a frame. Okay, we have our subject here. We have him separated by this line, and then we have another line. So we got some dark, light. I guess some this is like the dark area of this area. We got a light, and then we've got the dark side of his face, light, dark. So we've got like contrast in terms of the exposure, and then we also have depth being created from this foreground element to this background element. And then we also have a nice compositional element in terms of the fact that we're like framing him in this right third. So that's really cool.
I think about when I wake up.
There's a nice over the shoulder, bringing out focusing our attention. Interesting compositions, important. So Ray Roman, they use a Linkin Park cover in this video, which again like adds to the feeling that this is a more expensive, more cinematic kind of video, right? Because we know the song, like, oh, this is that Linkin Park song. It's not the version of, it's not like a Linkin Park version, but it is. We know the words, so we are feeling like this is more expensive. So that's something to think about. If you're trying to make your film feel like a Ray Roman film, you're trying to make it feel like a blockbuster, cinematic. We're starting to see the elements. You're going to want those cinematic drums. We're going to want like really clean, audio. We want that audio to sound like it's from a film, right? We want it to be really, really crisp, no background noise. We want all of our ambience to be put in later. We want to have complete control over how that sounds. We're definitely going to want drone shots. But we're not going to want them to feel like drone shots. We're going to want them to feel like helicopter shots, right? Because that's what we're used to seeing in cinema, right? We're used to seeing slow movements, push-ins, dollies in the sky because they're helicopters. And they used to be helicopters, not drones. So that's the kind of movement we're going to want to see. What else do we have here? Shooting into reflections. Okay, this is a big one, and it's so easy, but it adds interest, it adds intrigue into the shot. So yeah, shoot into reflections, interesting compositions. Another thing I'm noticing in the editing is there's a lot of push-ins, right? There's a lot of movement, but it's not erratic movement, and it's not unmotivated movement. It's movement in, right? It's drawing you in. You see, we open with a push, like it's a dolly, but it's so okay. We open with this kind of orbit, and then we have a push in. And if you just kind of check out every shot, all right, so that one's a slow motion backward. That's another push in. Okay, push in. Got the logo. In. So he's drawing us in, right? Every shot is like bringing us in, keeping us engaged. So that is one way that he's keeping our interest. You can see, I just want to mention that our man here, looks like he has 2 microphones on him, on his tie, right? So this is probably, this is one of the ways they're getting such clean audio, is that they have the feed from this microphone, they have this microphone, and then they have a backup. They have 3 audio sources. And from the 3, they've been able to get a really, really clean source that sounds fantastic. So these would be my recommendations to get this kind of film, right? Shoot in the desert, okay? Get yourself some cinematic drums, right? You're gonna want the cinematic drums, right? Those hits, you're gonna want something like that. Is that a bird as well? Awesome. So yeah, you're gonna want cinematic drums. You're definitely gonna want drone shots. You're gonna want really, really clean audio. That's the main takeaway here. Really, really clean audio. A really cool song that is like memorable. This is a Linkin Park song. that's what gives it the vibe, right? It's the sound design with the drums. It's the really, really clean, like, narrative audio. It's the really great location. It's the really great light. It's the tasteful drone shots. It's simple elements, but when you bring them together, you can create something like this. You don't need $1 million or anything, or hundreds of thousands of dollars even, to make something that looks this good. You just need to have an understanding of the fundamental elements of this video. But that's what's so cool about it, is that you can take these fundamentals and create something that looks really, really expensive. So yeah, you could definitely learn a lot from Ray Roman and the way that they create these films. I know a lot of American filmmakers and people from Europe and things like that are trying to create this style, and it is one of the more challenging ones, but it is something that is doable for people once they understand those fundamentals. So that's Ray Roman. Those are my thoughts on this film, which is a great film. I love this style, this blockbuster Hollywood style. I think it's great. So that's Ray Roman. Let me know what you think about this style. I, for one, think it's a really cool style, the Hollywood blockbuster vibe that you can create out of a wedding film. I think it's really interesting. There's a lot of really great filmmakers making this kind of stuff. And if you're looking to make your films look like this, go and check out Ray Roman's website, where he has training on how he creates these looks, right? He has a course called Master the Moment, I think. Go and check that out. I'm sure it's a fantastic course where he will teach you everything you need to know about creating this look. So go and check him out on Instagram. Go see him on YouTube, all of that. If you liked this series, the Wedding Filmmaker Spotlight Series, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you're alerted when new films come out every week. If you have a filmmaker that, if you know one that you really love and you want to, learn more from them, you want to share their work with the community, leave their name in the comments section below, and I'll do a review on them, and we can learn, how it is that they create the films that they create, what they're doing to make their films stand out, so that we can all learn, so that we can all grow. That's the point of the channel. I want to help you. I want to help myself. I want everyone to make their wedding films better. I want to elevate the industry. I want to make everyone's films better, and I think we can do that by looking at other people's films and figuring out how it is they're creating such great content and creating such great heirlooms for their couples, right? So if you loved it, subscribe, all that stuff. Until next time, I'm Victor Fox. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.